tips to improve your grip strength? Like, I felt like I could pull more.
Yeah.
On the deadlift, but the grip was
I think
natural.
No, I think we just talked about this. I think for grip strength, I think for you, the reason you struggled to grip it was positioning, right? Like hamstrings were tight, belly's in the way, so you were hard to get into position. I don't think your grip was failing, but if you increase your deadlift and you're pulling it with your hands, your grip strength's gonna go up, right? It's like, you guys all know who Dr. Peter Attia is? Dr. Peter Attia. Yeah, if you don't listen to his podcast, I think he's a great one to pair up, because like Ripito will tell you, I'm the strength guy. I'm not the everything else guy, like I'm the strength guy. Attia's like a longevity guy, and they come together a lot. So like there was some study was done where it showed that people with higher grip strength had lower rates of dementia. And he says the same thing I would say. If you have really high grip strength, you're doing a bunch of stuff that's good for you. You're lifting heavy things, you're moving around, you're getting your heart rate up, you're working out. So it's not strong hands equal strong brain, it's strong lifestyle, that kind of stuff. Because you're also, if you're training, you're probably eating better, you're limiting alcohol, you're probably not a smoker, you're all these other things, so.
A question similar vein, so body asymmetry.
Yeah.
One leg of mine is actually quite a bit weaker.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to notice it as I get the heavier weights on, and I kind of feel like I'm twerking a little bit. So
yeah.
Obviously I need to do a little extra on this leg, but so should I keep, I guess, with the program?
So you mean asymmetry, not bone asymmetry in the body, but muscle mass?
Yeah, like just atrophied a little
yeah,
bit. So.
Yeah. I would make the argument that you just load it evenly, right? And that over time, that one will catch up. You see what I'm saying? So like, if your left leg, like, have you ever done a DEXA scan?
No, I haven't.
All right, so one, I'd be curious if you did one to see if the muscle mass is equal or not.
I mean, I've taped my legs. This is an inch smaller.
Oh, it's an inch smaller, yeah. So, I mean, prove me wrong, but I would say right now, your left leg, if you're loading yourself symmetrically, your left leg is gonna be your limiting factor. And if anything, you have more muscle you could be using on the right side that's not needed because you're loaded correctly. And then as you went up over time, they would match. But you've been lifting for a while. But I don't think like doing one-legged squats is gonna be the answer. Yeah. I mean, you could try, like, I don't think it's gonna be bad, but I really only like one leg or arm stuff if you're recovering an injury. Like the guy that tore his bicep, like once he got that reattached, it's like 2.5 pound dumbbell preacher curls, 5 pound dumbbell preacher curls. Is there any point in doing it with his left arm? Not really, right? Because he can do 45 over here. Like now we're trying to re-strengthen this tendon so that it can catch up. But outside of that, I think you're fine. Plus, I didn't see any big shifts. Like, he's got something going on.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but he's...
I can tell. I didn't do it today, but I'll lean and then push on this leg.
Yeah, so sometimes you have to think about that.
Yeah.
So, like, I think you have to be mindful of it, but I don't think you need to do one-legged exercises. Yeah. I think you'd be better off just keep going. What else?
So, I'm trying to get my run down on the AFCT.
Yeah.
So I have to do some conditioning. Would it be better, because I noticed the last time we did it, I did a 6 week, 3 days a week row.
Yeah.
Right?
6 week, 3 days a week row to improve your ACFT run time, which is 1.5 miles, 2 miles.
I don't run.
Okay, yeah. I don't run either, yeah.
Well, row. So, and I dropped.
So you test out with the rower as well? No, you test out with the run.
I run.
Okay. So you want to know what I would do?
Well, I know if I do that, it affects my deadlift because I'm rowing so much. Should I kind of do that and take a 4 week out from the ACFT and do it 3 days a week? Or should I just every week, just once a week?
Okay, so how do I improve my run time for the ACFT by rowing without impacting my deadlift, right? I got it pretty much? All right, so the first thing I always tell, we got 3 military guys, except only one still in, besides me. Or no, you're in. You're active, right? Yeah, so 2.
I'm reserved.
So that's fine, but I just mean you have to still do the test.
Right.
What I always tell my Marines is like, hey, you are weak and pathetic, and I can push you over. You need to get stronger.
Right.
you need to get your deadlift up. Guess what though? The Marine Corps doesn't care how much you deadlift and you won't get promoted off it. So becoming a fat power lifter serves you no purpose. You have to find the balance. So you though have to deadlift as a part of your test, but is that part easy for you? So to get the score you want,
if I want max it, then I gotta do the 290.
290 for 3 reps. 290 for 3 reps. Okay. Then as I enter ACFT season, do you do it from like June to January or something like that, or is it year round?
Well, reserve is once a year.
Once a year.
It's a record.
And what time? Anytime?
Yeah, like we're coming up in November, we'll have one. So usually there's 2 records, but if you've already ran a record, you don't have to run the second one.
Okay, no, I'm just trying, for us, like we do the PFT January to June, and then we do the CFT July to January, right?
Yep.
You have one a year. Okay, so I would prioritize my deadlift. There's no reason you, at your age, your body weight, and your current training are not doing 290 for 3 reps. You can totally get that. And then I would run to train the run. Just like, how do I warm up the squat? By squatting. I know you hate it. I hate it. I got to run 3 miles. What I do is January comes, I look at my reserve schedule. I'm going to run it in March. I back out 6 weeks. I say, I'm going to go in and I'm going to squat. And I'm going to do everything. But I'm also going to implement this running program that ends in a sub 22-minute 3 mile. And if my squat goes from 400 down to 330 because I'm losing weight while that's happening, I don't care. Because it's more important that I do the standards to get promoted. But to answer your question further, I like 1 long run day and then 1 sprint day. So I would say, hey, on Mondays, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna run my 2 miles. Terrible, 17 minutes, whatever, 20 minutes. But I did it. And then I would go out the next time and I would run maybe 400s. Go to the track and run 4 400s with 3-4 minutes rest. And then I would go out the next week that I'm on my sprint day and I would run 800s. And the next week I would run 1200s. See what I'm saying? And I think running is a lot different than rowing. Cardiovascular wise, you can make sure that the heartbeat goes, but you need to open your stride, right? Like to be effective at it. So I would, and just look at it. You decided you want to stay in the what do you call it? We call it the Corps. In the Army, right? You would decide you want to stay in the Army. Then like once a year, you got to give up 6-8 weeks of like peak physical strength training and you got to focus on this run. And then if anything, you'll be more of an advocate for more people doing this. Because you're like, hey, I strength train year round, 6 weeks out, I do a running program and I max it out. You should get strong too, right? That's kind of how I would approach it. But if you're gonna row instead, then I would row for the first 4 weeks so you get your cardiovascular up. But then the last 2 weeks, I'd be running, yeah. And you'll be more confident when you go to run. Like, that's a big thing too. Like, if you're like, I haven't run since 12 months ago for this test, you're gonna be like, oh, am I gonna twist an ankle? Is my knee gonna blow out? Like, and you'll have some confidence to run. And I think all of us, Rick, Darren, Brian, Tim, I think everyone should be able to run a mile. Like, that's a Grant thing, but like, again, like, you don't want to specialize, you want general, but I don't think everyone should have to run 3 miles, but like you should be able, it doesn't have to be fast either, but you should be able to go and run. Like what I mean by that is like, I just think that's useful. It means that along with your strength training, you're keeping some kind of conditioning base. Like I run, right now I'm like out of season for the PFT. I run like, sometimes I'll do 2 miles, but I usually run 1 mile and it usually takes me like 10, 11 minutes. And like, it's nothing heroic, right? But it just keeps that baseline of some type of conditioning ability. It's also the first thing I'd throw out if you got super busy, but I think it's good. I think it's good to have something, or something you like. If you like rowing, that works too for your like once a week, but I think you should, and don't, starting strength coaches, like you running 1 mile is not gonna ruin all your progress in the gym. Like it's not, right? Like you sitting down all day is gonna be worse for the gym than, running a little bit. And running comes quick. The reason I implemented that 1 time a week, 1 mile is because I would go out all right, it's PFT season. And I'd be like, I can barely run a mile, forget the score. Like I'm at a half mile and I want to stop running. This is ridiculous, right? But then I'll run 3 miles the first time and it'll take me 33 minutes. And then 4 weeks later, I'm 25 minutes, which again, is not amazing, but it's respectable if my other 2 are great, so.
I saw your video on the carnivore diet.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on it?
Huge fan, huge inconvenience.
Yeah.
So like my favorite diet way of eating that I've ever done, like you're always like, when I've dropped weight, you're miserable, you're stopping eating, you know, you're measuring things. Carnivore, I'm hungry, 2 burgers. Like I'm hungry, ribeye, I'm full, right? Like you're always satiated. The transition from carbohydrates to 0 carbohydrates was rough. I felt like a pregnant woman. Like I would just 2 in the afternoon lay on the couch and fall asleep. That lasted about 2 weeks. Where it's a pain is like, we all live in ways that like we go to eat and you can do it. I did it. Like this place next door makes like bowls, you know, like Chipotle almost style. And I'd be like, I want 4 servings of chicken. And they're like, what else? I'm like, nothing. They're like, okay, you know, it's gonna be like $24, right? And so like, I don't think carnivore is expensive if you're cooking everything at home. I mean, it can be more than living off of rice and beans, right? Obviously, but it's not expensive per se. But man, eating out, and then just like in today's world, you throw, it's not, I don't care if they look at me, but you throw them anything that's like not in the rule book, and they're like, I'm like, hey, this dish, it's this and this. I don't want the cheese on it, and I don't want the tortillas or the rice or the beans. So inconvenient, but I felt great. Lost weight. I did fine in here. I think what I learned on that, and because I think I coached 20 people signed up for the challenge with me. If you had never trained or you were new to training, those people struggled to make progress with no carbohydrates. But the guys that were already strong, that did carnivore, did really well. I did it from last week in December all the way till March. Yeah, 3 months. Yeah, well, all of January, all of February. I quit in March when there was a Marine Corps event. It was our St. Barbara's Day or something, and I'm like, I'm not gonna go and just like be a weirdo. But no, it was fun. It's fun. Are you thinking about it?
I need to do some body.
Yeah.
It's harder today.
Yeah.
I'm 225. I need to do that too.
Yeah.
So, now they're actually worried about the just eating, right? I don't know. I guess there's no risk to it. It's a short
No.
term.
Yeah.
It's not a life.
Yeah, I don't think it's the lifestyle. I mean, and I think all the amazing results from carnivore are coming from people that have so many other like it's an elimination diet, right? So like, what's the problem with keto? Yeah, I think keto's a great diet, but it's like, are you actually in ketosis? And like, you can't do a cheat day on keto, because like now you're producing ketones, but you're like, I'm gonna do a cheat day and I eat a pizza. Well, now it's gonna take you 2 weeks to get back into ketosis. You've ruined the whole thing. And then one other thing I don't like about diets is like, okay, I'm keto, and the next thing I know, like, I'm eating keto candy bars. And like this highly processed, but it's keto, look at the ingredients, and it's like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose. So the simplicity of carnivore and like just the rules of meat, eggs, if it has a face, eat it, you know. I didn't do any vegetables. I added cheese in after the first month, and that helped a lot because it just gave you a little bit of variety. And I used hot sauce. But yeah, I didn't do any vegetables. But I don't really eat vegetables. It's not like a thing. I'm always like meat, like protein and carbohydrate. Okay, I'm good. You know, if my mom makes broccoli casserole, I'll eat it. But like, you know, yeah. It's a good one. It's a good one to like kickstart healthy habits. It's like you go carnivore for a month, and then you're like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna like only add in these type of starches to now eat alongside my meat. Yeah.
But you got to eat the fat of your meats, right?
Yeah, the fat of your meats. Yeah, I didn't intentionally though. It wasn't like I'm only gonna eat ribeye. I just shot a deer. So I ate in January, I think I ate like 24 pounds of venison. But I was cooking it in beef tallow and like, you know, because it was so lean. Yeah. It's a good one though. I encourage it, yeah. Or the vertical diet. Have you looked up that one? Yeah, it's a little bit more like rules you got to research, but it's good like for performance and weight loss. Yeah. I mean, we all know you can't eat pizza every day. You can't eat a cheeseburger and down 4 beers every day, right? Like we all know the basics of like, this is a cookie. It's a cookie. I shouldn't eat it, right? But you don't need to be scared of rice and sweet potatoes and all that stuff. And then I'll just say for diet, and I'll wrap up with this, like meals that you are eating for sustenance, make them perfect. It's like I wake up, my wife's still asleep, I'm gonna eat breakfast. There's no need to be eating Honey Nut Cheerios. Like I'll eat 4 eggs and whatever. Lunch, I'm at work, I'm eating in my cubicle, I'm behind my computer. Like that should be a nice lean meat, white rice and some vegetables or whatever. That way, when it's Thursday night or it's reserve weekend and the guys are like, hey, let's all go out to the pub and eat, you can go and there's no healthy options at a pub. It's like, well, do I want this bacon cheeseburger that's terrible for me or this flatbread pizza? But you don't have to worry about it because you did the other things right. Or like Monday through Thursday, eat strict. I mean, a lot depends on your job, but whenever you're eating by yourself or it's not like socially, I just always try to make those meals clean and then everything else kind of buffers out.